I'm Dave Scott. He is Kevin McIntosh, the newest member of the Civic Center TV team. And Kevin, let me introduce to you, if you would allow, the supervisor of West Bloomfield Township. Joining us now on the Splash Live is Steve Kaplan.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning,
Steve.
Kevin.
So Steve, Kevin, Steve. Steve is our township supervisor. Kevin, we Cast Tech grad, amazing broadcaster from Lansing. We somehow urged him to come back home to the Motor City and join our team. His first day with us today on the air, and we're really excited. Just wanted you two to meet, Steve.
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
great to
Happy
see
to
you.
be
Hope
here.
we have
Nice to
many
meet you, Steve.
Meetings together.
So, Steve, yesterday was President's Day, and we sent our camera crews all around West Bloomfield to ask people what it meant to them and if they could name, maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 presidents. And, I guess I thought about that, and I couldn't help but think about you. First of all, what did President's Day mean? What does it mean to you, Steve?
It's a way for residents, citizens of the United States to appreciate the government we have. Currently, of course, the political parties are at odds with one another, but we have the best government in the world, and it will not be surpassed.
Well, that's well said. I knew you could articulate that in a very fine way. But of all the people I know, I don't know anyone who loves the presidency more than Steve Kaplan. Why is that? Where did all that come from?
I'll tell you, if you read a biography of a president, you're not only learning about him, and one day it'll be him or her, probably within the next 8 years, but when you're learning about the era, you're learning about that president's friends and allies and advisors. So you're not only learning about the president himself, but you're learning about that era, and that's always helpful to understanding today's era.
Well, listen, anything that'll help us understand what's going on today in this very complicated political environment is good. But, I know you respect and appreciate history. And so hopefully somewhere in all that history is an opportunity to get a deeper understanding of what we're going through right now. Because it's a little challenging right now with what's going on. We got, one presidential candidate who's spending all of his time in court, and 2 candidates this year, not to get political, but just stating the obvious. It's a complex election coming up ahead of us. 2 candidates that are, they're as elderly as any president we've ever had.
And 80% of the public, according to reliable and reputable polls, do not want either candidate running. They do not want a candidate running who is above, say, 77 years of age.
Well, and all this isn't the reason I called.
Right. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Continue, please.
President Reagan was 77 when he left office in January 20 of 1989, but he seemed very vibrant.
Well, absolutely. But Steve Kaplan, none of this is the reason that I called you today. Thank you, though, very much for your thoughts on President's Day. What Kevin doesn't know, and probably most of our viewers don't know, is that you have a unique skill when it comes to President's Day and your recollection of the presidents. Do you want to share that with us?
Oh, sure. And before doing so, President Biden is considered to be the 48th president of the United States, but he's actually the 47th because Grover Cleveland served 2 non-consecutive terms. And therefore, he is president 22 and 24. And President Biden is president 48, even though he's number 47.
All right, Kevin, you get all that? There will be a quiz at the end of this interview, so.
Right.
But I think what you're referring to is, I know you're always interested when somebody can name the presidents in order of service. And you mind if I make an effort in that regard? And my assistant's right here with me, so I'm not looking at a teleprompter.
Yeah, believe me, what you're about to see, I've seen before. This is a no BS deal. So, ladies and gentlemen, Supervisor Steve Kaplan.
All right, Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren, William Henry Harrison, John Tyler, And now we're at 1844. I'm going to have to come back to that one. But we have Polk. Oh, I'm sorry. So Zachary Taylor, and he died in office, and then Millard Fillmore, Polk, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, Ulysses S. Grant, takes us to 1877. And then Rutherford B. Hayes, which some people call Rutherford B. Hayes because of the way he gained the presidency. And James Garfield, Chester Arthur takes us to 1884. And then Grover Cleveland served his first term. And then he's defeated by Benjamin Harrison, but then he beats Harrison. So that's why he's 22 and 24. And after that, William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, taking us to 2 terms of Woodrow Wilson, Warren Harding, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, then 2 terms of Bill Clinton, and then George W. Bush, and then Obama, Donald Trump, and last president, current president, Joseph Biden.
Yeah!
Good job. That's impressive. That's impressive.
You know, I mean, what do you think about that?
That was nice. When you got to a certain point, I started to recognize him, but everything before that just sounded like a made-up character, if I'm being honest.
Right.
And Steve, the pressure of being on television on Civic Center TV didn't add any extra pressure to that. You ripped right through it, man. That was beautiful.
Nice, man.
But it did help that I was able to offer a little commentary because there was a pause enabling me to remember who was next.
Yeah.
All right, I know you got a township to run. Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to chat with you. Happy President's Day after Steve Kaplan. This guy's you're gonna see him all over the township, and we look forward to having an opportunity to break bread in person. And thank you very much for your time this morning.
Nice to meet you, Steve.
Thanks, gentlemen. Nice to see you. Have a great week.